It's gonna be my reaction to Tom Kick's State of Supervive video. Creds are gonna be in the description. Thanks for tuning in and listening.
I mean, look, I think it's always like it's like, hey, we made a game that's better played on comms with friends, and you're like, hey, you can't do that. That always feels like
Yeah.
shit.
People don't like being punished for being better at the game or good at the game. At the end of the day, if I open my friends list and see people I like online at the same time, I want to play with them. It's a video game. People want to have fun. There's already how many players? Less than 1,000 people online. There's no integrity. Nobody cares about rank. Just let people play together.
It's like impossible to matchmake you guys.
So your solution is basically to then randomly assign these teams together and then randomly have double grandmasters and double legends while other people have to play with golds and plats and all that. So this is your type of fairness.
Like I'll say this clearly, what we're doing here on some level, terrorizing EU, like this is wrong on some
Yeah,
level.
yeah, this is wrong.
Nice that you see that this is a problem. It would be a shame if high elo people would be able to play together with each other and then play within their own ranks as opposed to being forced to make smurf accounts and then terrorize low lobbies. This is neither fun for people that are getting dominated by higher elo people or the higher elo people either. For higher elo people, these are very low quality games that they don't necessarily want to play. They're just being forced into playing them. For the low elo people, this is just driving them out of the game. This is not good for anybody involved.
Uh, and at the end of the day, I think the nature of it is that like what is more important? Is it fair matches or is it the ability to play with friends? And on the current side of tunings, it's like, hey, we're saying like it's more important to have fair matches. In part because even if we did let you guys queue together, I don't know how long the queue times would have to be for you guys to find each other.
There is no fair matchmaking. The game assigns multiple GMs or legends on the same team, whilst other teams force either the one GM to play together with random golds and plats, or even a full stack of plats end up in a lobby where there's multiple legends and GM people involved. These are very, very unfair matches. And the queue times? Well, you don't have to worry about it. There already aren't any people left, so there's only one lobby anyway. Why not make that lobby fun for most people that can join it?
The other is just like the practicality of like, hey, we're running into low concurrency already, right? Like, how are we going to solve for matchmaking in a world where there's less players online, quite frankly?
When you released 1.0, I think there wasn't a single person that appreciated the armory system as it was. It was a very fundamentally broken system that was completely unfair. It did not respect people's times, and you backed out on it, and you actually admitted there was a mistake as it was, and it's been now finally completely reverted months down the line after pretty much like literally 95% of the player base already quit the game. I mean, obviously there is going to be trends, and with every seasonal game there's going to be a surge of players at the beginning of the season, but history kind of repeated itself. In the open beta, there also wasn't really any sort of like people playing the game, so every single lobby was kind of littered with bots. There wasn't really any lobbies that were essentially enjoyable to play because there weren't any people left. I think at this point you could say that you just kind of played yourself. I think you were ignorant for way too long with these issues that people were trying to address, and just I think you were too slow. You were just simply too slow on adjusting things that people wanted to have adjusted. And just like the armory, being able to play together is one of those pain points for everybody involved who was playing this game. That is a problem that you're just not willing to see and willfully ignore until this game dies. So it's just like you can keep pretending that this isn't a problem, or just keep like trying to come up with solutions that are necessary, or just let people finally play together.
For me, at least, with some of like the ally recall changes, is that like team play is more possible with people that are not on comms, or team play becomes more possible by virtue of the fact that like, or you end up in more situations with coordinated play because you're able to team play and have social loops together, you know?
I agree to this point. It is important to make it as sort of efficient or as possible for people to play together, even though it's a fully random group. It's a good change.
Select your hunter.
It sounds weird, but like, will the Unga Bunga Tetra say like, "Hey, please save me," uh, when they get into a bad spot, you know, and they'll say the first thing they've said all game,
Yeah.
and then you can feel like you can actually talk about the game. Like, are there opportunities like to make it so that when you play in pubs, right, that it is viable and valuable for you to be able to coordinate with people that are not in the same party as you?
Depends on the situation. Some people do not like using their microphones because some, especially on the EU server, they say that their English is not really that good and then they just don't like speaking in English. So they resort to typing and, well, your chat is broken and bugged. It is incredibly difficult to use the chat window. You do not see the oncoming messages because it's always scrolled up. Even though you mentioned before that this bug is corrected, it's never been correct on my end. I don't understand what you're doing. So first of all, fix the communication features of the game. Second of all, also make it so that people are able to lock in and focus on situations when it's necessary. I think whenever you're the last man standing, you need to lock in and focus, and usually your own teammate is able to play against you with cluttering your screen, typing in chat messages, or spam pinging you. I think muting people in these very important points of the game is very, very necessary, and giving you a feature where you're able to do it with a click of a button as opposed to having to escape and go into the menu and search for this separately. I think that would be so much like I would just appreciate it so much. Please let people ignore each other properly, let people focus and lock in and have good games.
Because I think part of what there's like two different reasons for wanting to change duo restrictions at IM, or at least from what I understand. And they're two separate ones. One of which I think is like potentially more addressable than the other one. The first of which is like, hey, I really want to play with my friend. And my friend also happens to be a high MMR player.
Yeah.
That problem is just tough to solve because essentially it boils down to matchmaking, right? It's like, hey, can I find you another pair of people to play against? And can I find, or more accurate, can I find you several pairs of people to play against?
No, you can't, because all the people that wanted to play your game already quit because they were not able to play with their friends. Also, on a serious note, right? I've had one of this exact scenario come to me where one of my friends that I played in the open beta with, he's an IRL friend, he doesn't play Supervive anymore, pretty much at all. He wanted to play with us for a couple of afternoons. What happened then was, because we were already restricted, not being able to play together with each other, some of my friends were resorted to making Smurf accounts so that we could still play trios together, and these Smurf accounts reached Diamond, so then the friend who came back, who was still Bronze, was not able to play with us, so then I had to dive Abyss 12 times over so that I was finally able to queue with my friend. Theorycraft, I ask you, is this fun? Is this how you think the game is supposed to be? This is like, okay, let's just be honest, this is miserable. Why the fuck is this like this? Change it yesterday, and please listen to your players.
Or can I find a trio of people that's like roughly equivalent in skill level, you know, and can balance things out? That's one.
The most fun I've had in the game was actually at launch, because I was able to play with anyone and everyone on my friends list whenever I wanted, and I think everybody shares this exact experience. And as soon as people were climbing the ranks and the restrictions kicked in, guess what happened? People started to quit the game. Wow, incredible.
The other is like, hey, the biggest reason why I want to play with my friends is because playing solo feels so bad, right? Like playing in an environment where no one wants to talk and I feel like we can't make a plan and we don't get to play together as a team feels really, really bad.
Explain to me how a randomly assigned Grandmaster Elo player is going to be on the same page as a Silver player, because those are the matches that you're providing. So I'm willing to listen on how you think this is going to work.
I get it too. I like Q solo decently often on NA, and it's just like, oh man, it's just fucking a library up in this bitch. Like no one's talking. If like people are all doing their own thing, right? Like you watch, especially in like slightly lower levels of play, it's like the guy will literally just walk by your wisp, and you're like, bro, I'm right here.
I think part of the problem is right now the bonus points that you're assigning people. These are essential participation trophies. Like it's enough for people to just come and play the game and they reach masters no matter what, basically, because they get carried and they get so many bonus points. It doesn't even matter if they just int every game and not even understand how to revive people or like not even understand the core mechanics of the game. I think it is very necessary to start coming up with mechanics and things that allow the game to sort of measure whether someone is skilled and doing the right things within the game, as opposed to people who are just being completely useless and dog shit. And then those people who are that should not earn as many points as people who were actually carrying the game.
The second half of the problem I want to solve more broadly, because it's just more broadly applicable to people. Make it more enjoyable for people to play with strangers, essentially.
Oh my god.
When I picked up Supervive in the open beta, the player base was already rather small, but what I immediately noticed is that it was pretty welcoming and enjoyable to play with. Yes, I think this is a very important thing that he's pointing out, that it needs to be enjoyable to play together, even if it's random people. Nowadays, I have like hundreds of people on my friends list. Unfortunately, almost none of them play the game anymore, but the ones that do, I really do enjoy playing with. So I share this sentiment. I think it should be very nice, or like a encouraging environment where people are able to play together.
Like if we wanted to do looser restrictions, and to be very clear, I'm not committing to doing that, right? Mm-hmm. It'd be like a really convoluted rule, you know what I mean? Like it'd have to be like you guys get some sort of penalty while playing together, whether that's like your ranked anti increases, your actual effective like health damage outputs in game are lower, you know what I mean? There's like probably some magic number where you can opt into like, hey, I'm that much weaker, and then therefore I get to play together. But I'm not sure that's good either, right? Like the trades for that kind of system are really weird too, because it's like, hey, all the mastery that you spent on like learning what specific damage thresholds, you have kill threat on, what specific outcomes, like what areas you could even dunk on, right? All get different and weird. And that like sort of compromises the game in a different way. And so my instinct is like, the most important thing to do is like decrease the part of the pain where it's like, hey, I don't get to play with I want to play with my friends so badly because the experience of playing entirely by myself is so rough right now.
Whenever I get to play with people that are current legends or current GMs or let's say high elos on their mains, usually the comment that I get at the end of the game is like, finally I got to play with a human. So if this is how they react to teammates that are usually on the same page or that are on the same level as they are, how do you think they react or play with people that aren't? There wasn't a single high elo person that does not feel this way or that does not somehow indicate the type of frustration that they've been feeling over the past few games that they've been playing within their sessions. In my opinion, if you are not willing to lift any kind of restrictions on solo queue, what you have to do is simply exactly what Rocket League has been doing with their own internal tournaments. They are just simply scheduled, reoccurring tournaments that you can sign up for, either with a full pre-made or a non-pre-made, however you would like. It's flexible, and then a tournament would automatically be formed by the matchmaking system, and then you could take part in this and earn rewards depending on the quality of the tournament itself. So let's say if it's a higher elo tournament, you'd be earning like higher elo rewards such as titles. So in this game it would translate to call signs and other stuff. Like that could be decided, but at the end of the day it would incentivize some kind of a ranked environment in a way where you'd be able to play with your friends on a scheduled, regular basis.
I enjoy playing solo if I enjoy playing the game, but like, is there actually any game that you enjoy playing solo as just being a solo person? Like, I haven't played like a million multiplayer competitive games, but I think it's kind of the sentiment of it's always just more fun to play with friends. This is like a hard thing to like, how do you make solo queue enjoyable when it's like I feel from what I've like seeing baseline, just not enjoyable.
Tom is spitting facts right here. It is incredible how well he put that. In my opinion, this is also like sort of pointing towards something that Supervive would have this over other competitive games on the market, because at the end of the day, if people are so fed up with solo queuing and all of this type of bullshit, why not stand out and why not do something that other people aren't doing?
A huge part of the reason why queuing solo is unenjoyable is like it all comes down to like coordination mismatches on some level. Your support goes in specifically when you're like, hey dude, I'm not even level 2 yet, what are you doing, you know? Or like, hey, they're about to hit level 2 and we're gonna go in and die, please don't do this. You can't communicate the things that you want to communicate. And
so the problem with comparing Supervive to other games is, well, those other games have a player base, Supervive doesn't. And in general, on a micro scale, of course, we can talk about these like small differences between you and the players. And I think within a competitive game, you're not always going to be on the same page. It's totally fine. I think a solution there could be to have some kind of metrics or indicators to like sort of gauge if someone is like tending towards a more aggressive playstyle as opposed to sort of playing defensively, playing for macro all the time, or like sort of like playing it slowly. I think at all levels there are different playstyles, and in sometimes, you know, like some playstyles may succeed over others. Obviously in a battle royale it's usually more favorable to play slow and play sort of more strategically, but not everybody plays like that, not everybody wants to play like that. I think that should be respected. So I think the matchmaking should be looking more towards into gauging whether a person is playing a little bit more of on the aggressive or passive side, and then matching people with like like-minded, matching like-minded people together is what I'm trying to say. In League of Legends also, I think there is a problem with matchmaking just trying to extend your play session to the maximum possible amount of time it is able to. Most of your games that you're playing are anyways predetermined, and it is meant to keep you at a 50% win rate. I think we should finally start moving away from this like very algorithmic, very just completely fake type of matchmaking system. Please let people just play normally and let them express their skills as they are.
We actually have the benefit of actually having voice chat by comparison, you know, saying like, hey, you have the opportunity to, but most people also don't want to talk to complete strangers from the jump. So
yeah,
the best thing you can try to do is like set up some pro-social loops.
I have come across people that are outright racist, homophobic, Nazis, whatsoever. Nothing happens to them, regardless if I report them or not. So I think maybe you should be looking into actually like taking care of that first before you try to force people to interact with each other whenever you provide an environment like that.
Where you can be like, hey, it is clear that I'm not completely a psychopath. And I swear to God, we can talk about this like reasonable human beings, you know? And part of that is just generating pro-social loops early in the process. Like make it easy for people to back each other up and bail each other out and support each other. Right? Like the Luna that picks me up unprompted, you know? It's like actually paying attention to me and grasping my waist. I definitely like heart emoji, you know? Every time it happens, and I'm more likely to tell them like, hey Luna, there's this thing here over for you, or like you know, come over here, I'll buy you armor or whatever.
So next time you ask for a raise at your job where you're working really hard at, your boss should be giving you a heart emoji, and that should be all fine. Brother, we are playing ranked games for points. We are trying to earn points, so make people rewarded for playing the game well and not just randomly give them bonus points just for participating. Please make a system that accurately rewards people for doing the right thing.
The way I think about solving for solo is that like I don't think we'll ever I don't think any multiplayer game will ever be able to cross the threshold of saying like, hey, I can beat the experience of playing with the homies.
So if you recognize that it works, why not just enable it? Like, I genuinely don't understand how you admit that this is how things are good, and then you just do the exact opposite and expect it to be positive.
Did you not get that game? Oh, God.
Kill him.
No, I need to back up.
Kill him.
I'm not with you.
Kill murder. How does Jewel die again, bro? Both of them are like fucking 1 pixel health and she manages to. Like, I don't understand, bro.